I'm going to quickly take you through Trigyn a little bit, Trigyn's experience. I think I talked about it at a high level earlier. And so we're a public listed company, NSE, BSE listed. We've been in business for more than 35 years. We've been prime technology partner for United Nations for more than 22 years now. We manage a lot of applications around the globe for different organizations of UN and all the other things that you require for your CMM level 5 public listed company. These are some of the things you can also find on our website. Yeah, so this lists some of the key projects that we have done in India, and I think some projects are also global. I highlighted some of those to you earlier, especially the ones in India, and I'm not going to go through them. This is more for, for awareness. These are some of the places that we're present global. All our Africa is primarily the UN presence. We serve UN missions across the world and different divisions of UN. These are some of the clients. We have a lot of, in US, we're primarily Northeast based. We have a lot of private sector in Europe and also a lot of, United Nations organizations. These are some of the key clients in India. We worked with Niti Aayog, we worked with Digital India Corporation, NHA, Ministry of Education, as you can see, rural development, AICTE, youth and sports, external affairs. We did a lot of work for all these DPIs at different projects in AP. The virtual classrooms project through APFSL in 2018. We did some smart city things in Kadapa, and I think also in Ongole. So there are a few projects in the States, but this is where we look forward to spending more and more time in the state. So I think talking about startups, I want to introduce one of our startups. It's called Dira. You might have heard of Dhairya and then Dira. Dhairya is courage and then Dira is wisdom with strength. It also has a more appropriate current time expansion as digital human interfaces and robotic applications. So this is, I think this is what most of the speakers were talking about earlier, right? So if you look at the boxes earlier, we have a platform that integrates all the different systems, whether it's government or private sector together, and to enable real-time decision making. It brings the data in a real time, and to bring integrated citizen services, and on one side, and then the better experience for the government employees on the other. And then the most important thing is to enable agile policy and decision making on the other side. So how does this platform use some of this, right? So today, this is a normal course. When you're trying to do AI, ML, or real-time data, what you see on the left side is what is more and more. You try to pull all of these things together, but we've done this for you. We've done this in an easier way, so this platform is available. You can put it in your state data center, or you can also put it in the public cloud. So we made this process a little more easier for you so that you can get started a little bit easier and faster. By the way, this platform is already used in a couple of national level apps like Diksha and in eMigrate. So we like to take this to more of your applications and enable this with this. So what does this do at a high level? We bring databases, multiple different functions together. We have our own ingestion engine. We do, the common language in any organization or a government is bringing the, master data together and creating a common language. Data quality is important. All of this can run simultaneously along with your micro ML models. And then you can do whatever you want. You can do BI, which is the traditional method, Ask AI, which is LLM interfaces, asking questions and getting the output. Or you can do alerts, monitoring, and then telemetry, all of this. So yeah, how does this work, right? So we try to do this in two ways. One is you have this platform. The platform by itself brings your data, enables all these decision making. But of course, product engineering is very important because user experience is what drives everything. So our product engineering groups brings all of this together to make it much more seamless, much more relatable, much more common sense approach. So just to talk through, in Andhra Pradesh, if you're looking at it, I think this is an example. We did this primarily for security, for police, right? So if you're thinking about how does these advanced technologies work for a police use case, today I think there are about 7 to 9 systems relating to most state police applications, right? So, you can bring them all together, from the collection of the FIRs to the real-time case processing to all of these, including integrating with your, CCTV camera footage and all of those. Today, most of the footage that you have is primarily used for audit, but it doesn't need to be for audit. It can be for real-time decision making when you combine it with other use cases. You can also, and then you have different levels of dashboards for different things, right? So you can start with the local police station all the way to the ministry level, including the commissioner level and all of that, way they can see some of these things in real time. And then the advanced analytics can, the micro models which are integrated in all of this can bring some of the intelligence that you would want. For example, in a stolen car, or any of the alerts, a kidnapped kid, or even a criminal passing through, certain sections which are monitored, things like that, right? So they can all come through pretty easily. And then lastly, it's how can it be integrated? It can, through chatbots, it can be integrated to the citizens and also all the other interfaces like courts and all the other things where it's integrated. You can also think about it from a medicine perspective, right? Like, healthcare perspective. Think of this bringing together your patient data to the diagnosis, to the guidelines, to the protocol guidelines of that particular care. So you can imagine different scenarios. We just use this because it's easy to understand. Yeah, so, how do you do this from a perspective of how do you want to do this is obviously the first step is integration of the data, bringing it all together, and then, you create the long common language and using the policies and the compliances that are required, and then you drive the intelligence, both predictive as well as citizen-driven intelligence in some of these models. All this information is, is available in our website. So I think this one is a pretty, this is a completely different example. This is grievance management. We built all this, so many apps across the country, and we thought the common application across all of this is grievance management, is where a citizen is unhappy with something or citizen has a question, they go into the central grievance management portal like CP Grams, or they can go into a specific application grievance management. So this is, we call this Jan Sahayak, right? So it can drive in any local. You can see on the top right corner, you have it in English, but you can put it in Telugu, you can put it in Konkani, you can put it in any language, any integration from that perspective. And when a citizen gets in, it's very, with a phone number, they can get in. It's as easy as you got into COVID, right? And then you can start with, if there is already a grievance, you can start with what grievance do I have, and then you can either lodge a grievance, you can complain a grievance, and track all of this. And and then you can see what are all the 360 things that you have, how many things I've opened, how many things have all of this. See, the other thing this does is, I think, as I go in there, it prioritizes, see, when you enter a grievance, it uses AI based on the content to actually pick the right ministry and the department this has to go into. Because, if you're doing in a centralized portal, you wouldn't know which ministry or department. So based on the content, it automatically picks which ministry or department that it has to go into. And it also prioritizes the grievance. So, so it just lists which are the ones which are open, which are closed, all of those based on the priority, and then when it's actually open, and it also gives you the due dates. There are, I don't think most people are aware, most of these things have SLAs. They have to be resolved within certain days. So it also shows the SLAs and the investigation that is required. So here it's on the other side. When you go from a grievance officer, so that reaches a grievance officer, when it goes to the grievance officer, it does a couple of things. One is, it is showing you first the what is the grievance that is being investigated. Second, it picks the similar grievances in the past that were resolved. And based on that, it also gives you a resolution, suggested resolution. right? So you're fast tracking how things can be solved. But if they want to investigate further, so using natural language, this is a PDF that was uploaded or an email that was uploaded. This can be in a local language, a handwritten local language note, which the OCR can convert it, and you can help the grievance officer to understand the root cause of this issue. All of this is brought together in a single interface. And yeah, so you can see here the grievance officer sees what are the ones that are open for them, what are the ones that are closed, and it actually shows you the estimated timelines when that need to be resolved based on the SLAs. So the SLAs are clearly visible both for the citizen as well as the grievance officer. And this is a snapshot of something that is already closed. So you can see it's opened on a certain date, it's closed on a certain date. And these are the dashboards that can enable the views at different levels, but these are primarily at this point at the grievance officer level. And then, yeah, so this is in general the snapshots of our platform. You can do, the platform brings everything together. You can do a lot of dashboards, you can do a lot of advanced analytics with interfaces. And this is talking about advanced analytics here. So we bring all of this together, and you can also ask AI is essentially you ask a question, it will give you the response, it will give you the graph, and it will also give you the narrative of this whole thing. So anyway, so I think you get the idea. So the reason why I wanted to show you this is what I was talking earlier, how easy it has become to bring multiple things together. This is all primarily English. This might as well, the whole thing can be in Telugu as well, right? And this could be used for enterprises, this can be used for governments. In fact, I think pretty soon, if we're having this conversation in a month, we can actually show this to you integrated with one of the large national level apps and how it's used in multiple languages. So, I think now you get an opportunity to envision how services can be simplified, brought it together. There will be a little bit of work. There'll be a little bit of iteration work, right? So just because we put it in the front doesn't mean it's going to be accurate 100% of the time. There is going to be a process where it will improve like anything else. But things are going to get easier, things are going to get faster, things are going to get a click away. And I think that's what we are envisioning here. And also things like this will also remove the middleman. I think the IT secretary was talking about removing the barriers and making things faster using WhatsApp and other means. And some of these things enable the same thing for you so that waiting is reduced, services are faster, your expectations are met like in your private lives. Thank you.